Hello, welcome to the post-show recap. I have my notebook here. I wrote down some notes of what I learned during prep, and then we're going to talk about like the actual show day. If you don't know me and you're stumbling on this video because it's on YouTube, welcome. I am a personal trainer and menstrual coach and life coach and mindset coach. I have been doing this work for a long time. At least 10 years, over 10 years. Yoga teacher as well. The body is not new to me, but bodybuilding as a sport is new. Being on stage is new. Being a certain leanness is new for me personally. Why did I choose my first bodybuilding show at 37? Well, I believe movement is prayer. And so I wanted to dedicate this show to my mom because she was showing signs of early dementia and Alzheimer's. And 3 years before today, she was diagnosed with a heart condition. And so I've always said this when I was little, ever since I could remember, maybe like in high school when I started going to the gym and lifting weights. I always told her, I was like, Mom, I wish I could just borrow your body and work out for you so that you can have the vitality and energy to do the things that you love to do. But as an immigrant, as the oldest daughter in her family with 6 siblings and also, a businesswoman taking care of everyone but herself, I just really wanted to show her that it could be done, that you could always make time for yourself. And so with me not only committing to this scary thing, putting myself on stage with barely any clothing, super sparkly, showing my muscles, showing my hard work, and dedicating so much time and energy towards this sport, I wanted to show her that she inspires me to do this, and at the same time we could do it together, right? Like, she doesn't have to go too extreme as I am, but we could also do this together. Which, by the way, has this impacted my family? I think a lot of people, when they go into bodybuilding, they think that they're going to be like the black sheep, the odd one out. But like, it's very seamless, and I'm very fortunate that maybe not in the beginning, but I have been a trainer, a yoga teacher, a life coach. Like, health is one of those things that I think we have so much control over. We don't really have control over a lot of things in life, but the thing that we do have control over is what we put in our mouths and how we can take care of ourselves. Therefore, when we take good care of ourselves, we know how to take care of people, and we can fully feel alive. And that's what I live for. So not only that I had the opportunity and the gifts that were given to me to be able to help a lot of women get in touch with their bodies, get in touch with self-love, get in touch with what's sustainable for them to have a beautiful, vital life, which I'm so grateful for. If you are a past client and you're watching this, hi Sparkle Squad. What I was talking about is one of the things that had me not do a show in the past is because I was afraid that it would disconnect me and my family. Like, that's the biggest thing, is like, oh, you're not going to be eating meals together. You're not going to be sharing food. And food is one of the things that help people bond, like so we find other ways to bond, right? Family game nights, things like that. Or I can still have my prepped meals, or I can prep meals for everyone and I'm just the one that's, tracking mine, and everyone else could share. We could share. And so that's my case in this experience. Every time I would make protein, I would make extra for the family, and it would be just all clean. And they could add sauce if they want, and I'll add my dry seasonings, So we were still able to eat as a family. The times where, like, let's say if we get a dessert or something like that, I would just opt out of it and drink water instead. And that took a while for my mom to be okay with, not the dessert part, but the part where, let's say she wants to make a Vietnamese dish and I can't eat it. She will just be like, why not? It's meat. I'm like, well, there's all these other sauces like oyster sauce or fish sauce, things that have a lot of sodium that I can't eat. It took her a while to be like, oh, not even a little, it took her a while to be like okay with it. The other thing too is like if we went out to eat for a restaurant, everyone was thinking about like, hey, where are we going to go eat that has meals for Jacqueline. Every restaurant you can get steamed veggies, you can get rice, or not every single one, but like there are things that I could choose that would work for me. But oftentimes than not, we save a lot of money not going out to eat anyways, and we have more time connecting at home. That debunked the myth that I had that stopped me a while ago, thinking that prep is going to like disconnect me and my family. Actually, it made us all healthier. And the other thing too is that cardio became my sanctuary. Not only that, but like my mom has gotten up with me for cardio some sessions. And so with that, I am grateful for as well. She feels good afterwards. She sleeps better afterwards. And me too. And the other thing too, my daughter, she's 13 and she's more of like a type A person, right? So she actually loved me getting to bed on time. She loved the structure. And so that worked out for her and I as well. We bonded a lot more too. The other thing that she was very supportive in is being okay with not sharing food. She'll just be like, okay, we'll wait after your show and we'll discuss other things, right? Like emotions and hormones and things like that. I was able to manage a lot of it because one of the things that I realized too is that prep kind of reveals to you where you have been adding excuses to your life and what excuses that you have been running in the background. It really shows you that, because where before, let's say before this show or before this commitment, I would try to negotiate with myself on whether or not I have energy to do cardio, whether or not I have energy to show up for my training session, whether or not I have energy after seeing all my clients to meal prep, This is where I kind of just, after seeing myself complain about it with my other friends and them reflecting back to me, it's like, Jacqueline, just take the emotion out of it. I'm like, oh, I have been emotional. I've been letting myself run by emotions this whole time. Like, wow. And so I'm like, hey, what would the world look like? What would my experience feel like if I didn't have that? Like if I didn't allow myself that. And so that I am grateful for. Thank you, Randy and Landon, for that. That one moment I will never forget. I was like, oh, I have to work out now. It's my turn. It's going to be so hard. And they're like, Jacqueline, just do it. I'm like, okay, you guys believe in me. I will believe in myself. Okay. The other thing during prep that I've learned is that I didn't trust myself enough. Therefore, I also didn't I didn't have trust in my coaches. Okay. But wait, what I mean by that is that my experience, I was doing everything and I also felt like I wasn't doing enough. And my coach, more likely than not, has been teaching me less is more. He's like, I was like, do I need to do this? Blah, 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 blah. He's like, no, you're good. And I was like, you don't have any feedback? Nothing else? He's like, yeah, you're good. He just like made it so chill that I was like, am I just making this hard on myself? Like, am I just looking for stress? Am I looking for it to be harder than it is? That's the thing. Like, I had to know everything beforehand. I had to know the reason why. I had to know blah, blah, blah. But like, I just need to trust that if he says I'm okay, then I'm really okay. And a lot of our communication was mainly that, was like, oh, you mean less is more? He's like, yeah, you're on pace. There's nothing for us to do. I'm compliant. I do everything that's on plan, and that's how that worked. And I'm like, is it really that easy? After that, I got the whole emotion thing down. And even like during, because I would say I'm very coachable, right? So even during a session with him, he's like, all right, we're going to have to do this. We're going to superset it. I was like, okay. He's like, oh, she's not going to argue with me? Like, it's like that. It's like, okay, we're doing this. I'm not going to argue with anything. Just going to do it. And we did it. And it's great. And it's been so great ever since. Okay. Also, in the beginning of my prep, there's this 1 week was like a bad week. I fell down the stairs twice. Yeah, mostly because I was sore or because I was like kind of in my head about something. My car also stopped working. So I'm still without a car, but that's not a problem because my family has other cars that I could use. So that's not, I'm going to manage to get one later. There's these things that seem like they would stop me from showing up, but looking back now, I'm like, those are just really annoying things that happen, and I was able to go through them, and it's just like life. And I think that is also, by being 37, I've lived life enough to know we don't have to cry over spilled milk, and so that was cool. Oh, the other thing in prep that I learned is how much victimizing that I did. That kind of goes hand in hand with the making excuses for myself a lot. Being like a single mom and being raised as the only daughter that always needs rescuing, always needs help and things like that I can't do anything alone. That was one of my biggest brought up stories that I had. I had to always go everywhere with my brother. I'm not safe and things like that. And so over the years, I've done a lot of inner work with that. But I think this prep has showed me where the last bits and pieces of that victimization has interwoven itself through my everyday life. And so with this prep, it had me really see that in plain sight. And I just was able to throw that in the trash. It was really cool. Training with my friend Sophia, she showed me that I was not training hard enough. I just wasn't. I wasn't training till like nowhere near close to failure. Or I remember training with her and I was like, oh shit, I've been skimping out on myself this whole entire time. But she set the stage up. I was like, now there was a moment where every single time I started training my sessions, I had to look for that edge. I had to look for the edge to be like, if I didn't have a taste of that edge, that magic, that pump, that intensity, it would have been a whole waste of time. I would have felt like I had to redo that, therefore wasting my time. If I did it right the first time and trained hard enough the first time, I wouldn't be wasting another hour trying to get these exercises to this stimulus that I'm trying to feel. We're not just moving through the motions. We're actually intentionally going hard for a purpose to grow those muscles and get all that juice coming up. I just realized I didn't live on the edge that I always tell my clients to start living on the edge. Try to go for the edge because that's where the magic happened. And I realized I was not doing that myself until I started training. That one training session, we did upper body. I remember exactly. I was like, damn. But I'm very grateful for that because we want that source of power as we lift. Okay. So no more half-assing for me. So prep part was easy, I would say, other than, having those moments to see. When cardio started ramping up, I actually looked forward to that. And here's the funny thing about that too, is that I always focus on NEAT. NEAT is basically movement outside of exercise, meaning how many steps you have, fidgeting is a part of NEAT. Like just actively being an active person in general. Once I started to get my step count up, I was feeling amazing. I was like, wow, that's the other part of life that I was like, this entire time I could have been resourcing my own energy by just accumulating more steps because energy just keeps expanding. Movement expands your energy. So this whole entire time when I felt like I was burning out, not having energy, is because there's a part of a belief system that I used to believe that we need to slow down. That doesn't make sense. I mean, yes, there's slowing down in certain ways, but also there is actively giving yourself more vitality by letting yourself move through life. And so when I really got that, how I really got that is one, doing cardio while reading and reading fiction, reading stories where people go through challenges. The other thing about reading is that you have this emotional regulation that's occurring while you're in movement. With the nervous system expertise that I have and how that energetically works, that makes sense. Before I would think like, okay, it's only through yoga or only through lifting weights. But now that has expanded into, let's just keep moving, but with intention. I'm not talking about forcing things to happen, because I made the choice to get this lean, right? I'm actively choosing cardio because I want to continue reading on these stories, these characters, these seeing their development, but at the same time me actively developing myself in my life like in that moment. Cardio is for your heart. That's what cardio means. It's for your heart. But here's the other energetic woo-woo way of thinking it, because this is how Jacqueline thinks, is that the moment I step onto a cardio machine, before I would be so disgusted and resentful for it, because in the past, when I was 28, which was where my last leanness was, I was probably same body fat percentage as now. But that was like my peak, right? I resented the 2 hours of cardio for the longest time. And so once I started training my clients, it might take a little bit longer. I was like, we're going to get your NEAT up before we do any treadmill cardio session. But now that's going to change because I have a new reframe about cardio. The new reframe is the time you have on these cardio machines is actively you choosing. You press that start button, that's you with your heart. That's you having that time with your heart, letting your heart beat, feeling its presence, and allowing the things to show up. My coach and I had talked about this, is like sometimes we're going through shit and we don't really have the time to be with ourselves with it, right? So any breakdown moments, any emotional, personal life situations, I think the perfect time to deal with those with yourself is through cardio. I can't explain it other than you have to feel it for yourself. And that's the thing too. It's like realizing that when you have those heart sessions, the cardio sessions, and knowing that tomorrow you're going to have a cardio session, knowing that you're going to be there, and you do that on a regular basis and often enough on a regular basis, you really do see how much capacity that you have. You really can tolerate more of your emotions for yourself because you just keep walking forward, or you keep stepping forward. You are actively moving your body as you are thinking about your problems, situations, your circumstances, and actively solving these problems with cardio. Biggest thing I got with this. And now I have a very empowering context around cardio thanks to this, okay? So cardio equals heart time, me time, depth time, looking through shadow time, character development is really where cardio is. It's like, this is where our power lies, is in our heart, right? And so I hope that empowers you too, because it really does like light me up when I think about doing cardio. I don't hate it anymore. And the cool thing is if you do it with your friend and you get them to do it too, you're having them create space for themselves. And I think that's something the world needs. Less noise, more centeredness. Okay, so that's prep. I don't know if I'm forgetting anything else, but I want to talk about show day now. Show day. Some questions. Oh, my phone is there. Okay. Some questions that was given to me. Thank you guys for submitting your questions on my Instagram. Were you not drinking any water? What is this whole water sodium manipulation? Honestly, throughout prep, I was told to salt my food. So salt every meal, and I continue to do that. And I continue to do that even during show day. We salt everything. So that's great. The other thing too is 2 weeks before we started upping my water. So instead of just a gallon of water, we would do 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons. Like 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons. So I did that for 2 weeks straight before show day. And then we started upping my NEAT as well, or like started upping my step count. So my steps were at 11 to 15K every day, including rest days. Yeah, and I always salted my food. So, which is great because that's what gave it flavor and it gives me so much aliveness. That's also why I wash my hands a lot, because I'm always peeing, right? And so like this part of my hand on my tan is super dark because it was super dry. I did, thankfully, for my posing coach, she showed me a DIY like tanning thing that other pros use. So I did that instead of having to pay for the on-site tanning people, because the on-site tanning really had you be naked and bend over and things. My body is sacred still. I don't want that. I don't want to be doing that. So when she told me that I could do it in my own hotel room, I was so happy to hear that. That's what I did with that. Another question that was asked was, did my coach have like a goal weight for me to go on? He kind of did, not really. He's like, yeah, that's a goal weight, but it's not a big deal if you don't hit it. And so I didn't hit it. I was supposed to be 115. We were going towards 115 on show day, but honestly, I think I did hit it, because peak week, I was riding on 120, 119, and then maybe Wednesday, I stopped training. No, I stopped training on Thursday. But Wednesday during peak week, I had to also like not be working. Peak week is like no working, rest, try to de-stress as much as you can to bring down inflammation, look super flat. I was all on pace for that. The only thing that was stressing me out, I think at that point, was managing my daughter's emotions, honestly. But she's 13, teenager. What are you going to do, right? And so we learn and grow through that. That was it. Everything else was manageable. It was all manageable. It's just, you want to be there for your baby and you want her to understand, at least for me. Anyway, so what's the other thing? So my coach said 115. Probably by show day, I was 115. You'd be surprised. Let me just put a picture here for reference. So peak week, maybe a little bit before peak week, I had to start putting the Wednesday before peak week. We had to do daily weigh-ins and pictures for my coaches. And so I sent them in the group chat every morning, and I was riding around 121, 120, 121, 120, 19. I can do a whole graph here. I'll take a screenshot and add it here. I don't remember exactly, but you see there's a lot of fluctuations. Also, because I'm a menstrual coach, meaning I just want to educate on the menstrual cycle, by stage time, I was on day 21, which is technically luteal, which is technically when hunger starts coming up, when I burn more calories. So that's why hunger starts coming up. But I wasn't really that hungry or hangry, okay, throughout the entire thing. I was on low carbs for probably like a month, maybe like 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. So not that much of a deficit, honestly. My TDEE, my normal, like my maintenance is 1,300 calories. I'm 5'3.5", 37. The deficit wasn't so hurtful. It did not feel like I was doing anything too extreme, which is really awesome. Oh, okay. So we have peak week pictures, okay? This one is 7 days out. Then we have 6 days out, 5 days out, 4 days out. After 4 days, that's when I started feeling a huge difference. Everything just started going down, down, down. 3 days out, 2 days out, and then morning of. It's very interesting. When Thursday started happening, 1 day out, we drove to Anaheim. My family had some Vietnamese food. I had my water and my meals already packed and a scale. Chicken and rice is what I ate. We lowered the protein a little bit. So I forgot to say, the other thing about prep is that majority of the time I was eating 170 to 180 grams of protein. So before I thought like, oh my God, it's so hard for me to get 120 grams of protein, but like it literally can be done. I showed myself that. And it just takes planning. Not only planning, but not a lot of my training changed the entire prep. Not a lot of my food changed the entire prep. We had a high day, 2 low days, and then when we start getting closer, it's like 1 high day, 3 low days, and then closer is like no more high day, only low days. High meaning high carb, which is 200 grams. Low carb is 100 grams. And the most of the carb sources are around the meals, around my workouts. So those are all manageable. Why? Because I just eat rice and chicken. Make it super simple and super plain. There are sauces with no sugars that will help so much. Also, for convenience, canned tuna. For my fats was pistachios. There are days where my rest days had no fats. We had eggs, egg whites, oats, just the plain simple things. I could eat as much fruit as I wanted, and that's the thing that I think saved me the most because I have such a sweet tooth. I was able to eat fruits right before peak week, like that Saturday before peak week, and then I stopped eating fruits overall. And then so peak week started, I was able to go down more because no more sugar. And then we used up all that sugar on show day. And so let's watch my reaction on my prejudging video. Thankfully, my dearest friend Sophia was in the crowd and got a video of me. So we're going to watch that together. Side stage. They said, let's be on. Oh, well, I did pretty okay on my makeup and hair. I like my front pose there. You know what's so funny? I always thought my front pose was my least confident.
Let's go, Jacqueline!
I was like acknowledging twice, like, oop, I gotta do that again. I loved my walk. Walking was fine. Smile actually looked a lot better. Look at that side big picture. Oh, I love that. Woohoo! I kind of dropped my glutes there when I was transitioning, which I knew I needed to work on anyways. And they were already mentioning the next person's name, so I was like, damn, I gotta speed it up. My coach, EB, was saying that, like, hey, take your time, like, really milk it until you hear them say, like, next person. They will let you know when the next person's time to go up and things like that. And so I was like, oh shit, I was just like, okay, bye. That's what's going on there. There's this moment where there's a glimpse of me on the big screen, like directly straight onto the camera. I was like, that's me. When I watched this, I kid you not, I cried the next morning because I was like, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe that's me. I cannot believe it. I was like, wow, look at that front pose. She's actually really not bad, And so, anyways, y'all know I have been practicing this routine for at least like 16 to 18 weeks, almost every single day, at least 10 minutes. Every time I was told to do it, every time I finish working out so that I'm sweaty and all that stuff. That's the other thing that they warned me about. It's like, oh, backstage is going to be smelly. You're going to smell tan, sweat, like no one's wearing deodorant, things like that. And I don't know. It's because my senses weren't heightened or weren't as amplified or as sensitive because I just was depleted. I don't like that word. Not depleted. I was less sensitive because I didn't have like full meals, Man, I am so proud of myself. And the other thing too, I was told to put Vaseline on our teeth. And a lot of the times when I'm practicing posing, it's hardly, maybe like 75% of the time I'm not smiling. I'm just like kind of just doing like a sexy look or like, not really, just like not intentionally like, but like also not intentionally smiling for some reason, even though I know I should be. I just like every time I practice, I was like, this is one of the things I have to do. It's like, I'm not going to freaking smile while I'm doing my entire workout. I'm not going to freaking smile while I do all these things. I'm just let my resting face be the face that I have. All I need to do is to anchor in that muscle memory. So every time I practice, it's like that. But I think the smile came from being so excited to just so excited. I don't know what it is. It's more excitement than scared. I will say though, finals was a lot scarier than prejudging because I know my daughter was watching and my family, like my mom and my friend Sophia, came to prejudging, and there was also a possibility that all the self-made trainers, like all my friends back at the gym, was going to be there. But I think that's the thing that made me nervous for the final part. Oh, and I had Sour Patch Kids backstage. And that gave me so much aliveness. But at the same time, at that point, it was around 7 and I started cramping. And I'm like, do I need to go use the bathroom? With show day, all I had was I had to take pictures for my coach, Kyle, and because EB was also his show day, so he needed to focus on his thing, and of course that's why he won first place. Coach Kyle would look at my pictures and tell me what to eat by when, what to drink by when. And so there are a few hours would go by, 6 ounces, Rice Krispie treat, rice cake, drizzle some honey and salt. That would be show day food. All the way until I had my burger at the end. We didn't cut salt. We didn't also really cut water. I didn't really feel that thirsty. There are some moments, I mean, coming from like drinking 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons all week before, and then 3 days leading up to it, or maybe 2 days leading up to show day, 1 gallon of water. Even Friday, actually, the day before show day, it's just 1 gallon of water. And then show day, every hour I would check in with him and he'd be like, okay, 6 ounces right now. You can have a Rice Krispie treat and add some nut butter on it and some salt, things like that. And so honestly, and then he's like, in the morning when I woke up, he's like, do you usually have coffee? And I was like, yeah, I do, but I stopped drinking caffeine 2 weeks prior just because I didn't want to be overstimulated and things like that. And so he's like, if you think it will help you go number 2, then we should drink 6 ounces of water and then 6 to 8 ounces of coffee to help you go before you put on the last coat of tan. And that happened exactly that. On show day, actually, hang on, I want to show you. Actually, I put it away. So I'm going to put a picture here, but ladies use a pee funnel. At first, when I used it, I was like, my body is shy. This is very foreign. I was like standing there like, I don't think I could do this. It's so foreign. Anyway, it kind of reminded me as if I had the other genders thing. I'm like, wow, this is very interesting. But it does help. It gives me a sense of like relief that I'm not going to ruin my tan. So that was funny. So I had to carry that everywhere with me. I've never been to a bodybuilding competition myself. Like I haven't been to one as a guest. Never participated, didn't know what I was going into. Like had no idea how these shows go, what the smells are going to be like. I was told all these things. I did a lot of research, but then at the same time, like when I was there, it's completely different than I thought or I had anticipated. It was so much fun. Everyone is so nice. I also didn't know the head judges are so involved in the check-ins. Not only head judges, but judges in general. That was really cool. Very entertaining. A lot of deep respect for all of the athletes too, and seeing how everyone just shows up and does the brave thing, And I did only one class. I did True Novice, and with True Novice, that means that you've never have done a bodybuilding show before. And of course, I wanted to compete other people who has never done it before. Didn't make sense for me to like compete against people who have done it, So that was my thinking with that. And also like if I enjoyed it, I can completely do it more. So and go more classes. But because it's my first time, I just wanted to do it once. So I only competed in one class, which is true novice. There were 7 other competitors in my class. They do it by height, and so I'm 5'3.5". I think they did with my classes like from 5 foot to 5'4", so in that gap. And so there were 7 of us. Here is my. There we go. It's so beautiful. Look, there's an angel. Sorry, this is backwards. It's super heavy. This is USA. I want to see it. Hello. You can kind of see it. Very cool. And Los Angeles, 5th place. When they called my name on finals for 5th place, I literally, in that moment, thought that everyone got a medal. I thought everyone got a medal. And so I was like, okay, I'm last place, you know. They called my name first, that means I'm last place. I didn't really, like, my brain wasn't braining. It was a long day, too. I got on stage at 7:11, and they did the rest. I don't know how fast everything is, but around like 7:30, I guess, or 7:20. On that moment when she was putting the thing on me, I was like, when she was putting this on me, I was like, yay. And I just was focusing on, honestly, I was just focusing on my daughter. I was like, I miss her. Where is she? What is she doing? What is she doing? What does she think about all of this? Is it too loud for her? She's very sensitive to loud noises and loud sounds, and so she stuck it through. I'm so proud of her. I'm very also grateful for my best friends to be there as well, and my family. But yeah, I was last place, and I'm like, I don't care, because I loved every minute of this. I enjoyed myself, and I had so much fun, and I don't really care where I place, you know, stuff like that. Until after I got off stage, Coach Kyle was like, dude, you got 5th place. You won 5th place. You placed. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, you know, it's like, you know, he's like, you're not last place. I was like, oh, and he's like, there are 2 other people. How come you're not excited? How come I'm more excited than you? I was like, what? Explain to me. He's like, there are 2 other people that didn't place. I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, also, this is like one of the biggest shows. Very competitive show. I was like, oh, okay. And even then I was like, kind of just like, I think I was like in denial about it. But like, you know, that was never the thing for me. That, like, I wrote on my stories, or not even my stories, I posted, like, I already won. I already won so much. I you know, like, winning the actual thing wasn't a big deal to me. But like, cool, I got a medal. That basically was the experience. And then afterwards, we got a burger. I was feeling a burger. That's the other thing. I didn't realize that we were so close to Disneyland. And so I was like, let's not go to In-N-Out. Let's go to this little any cute burger joint. And so I think it was Sophia, my friend, that found this place called Black Tap. And we didn't realize it was in downtown Disney. So not only were everyone so already tired from waiting all day, because I was the last division to go up on stage for finals. Not only that we were like the last one, but we couldn't find where to go. Downtown Disney, okay. Then we finally parked. Then we walk 15 minutes to get to the restaurant. We get to the restaurant, and it's like a long line, things like that. And so anyway, all of us were being great sports about it. Super pumped, super happy. But my kid was already, this way past her bedtime. By the time we got there, it was like 10:30. We sat down and we ate. I finally ate my burger. I have a video here. And so after that, we just drove straight home to San Diego. And we didn't get into bed until like 2. The morning of, I got up, went into my garage and did cardio, and I bawled my eyes out, because reflecting on everything that happened and how everything happened smoothly, It was just such a great experience. And to thank for my coaches, to thank my friends, especially Sophia. She stayed with me and my family to make sure that everyone is, calm, collected, taken care of. My mom had a million questions, and that was kind of stressing me out. But at the same time, like, she just wanted to know, but I didn't know how to tell her that I don't know the answers. Yeah, I hope I answered all the questions, and I also know that I'm documenting this for my future self or future kid, my kid in the future when she's all grown up and she's watching back at this video. So if you're watching, Sophia, my little love, I just want you to know that you're capable of everything, anything that you want, because circumstances will just be there and time will move forward anyways. So why not take the chance on yourself? Why not take the chance to do what it is that makes you feel alive? And so throughout this whole process, I am so grateful and so honored to have walked this journey with my community, with you guys. Yeah, my heart is so full. This is not going to be my last show. What's next is that I want to be back on stage again because I had so much fun. Not only that, I want to redeem myself for I want a tighter posterior chain because I think that's why I didn't place second, first, or higher. It's because like my posterior chain, all the other girls had a little bit of a tighter tie-in the back. I could have started cardio a little bit earlier, now we know. But yeah, posing part was my most proudest because I did focus on that a lot, but not to the point to where I was beating myself up, because posing has became to me something that's so fun. And it helps me change my mental state as well. Like if I have something going on in my personal life, I just go straight to posing and it makes me feel so much better. Not because I have like a huge love for my body and myself and like I love how I look, like not in an egotistical way, but more of like, okay, I'm into my vibe now. Like I'm back in my body. This feels great, So like that. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you have any other questions down below. Yeah, this won't be my last one. This will be just the beginning. So thank you so much along this journey. I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Bodybuilding competition.